Host for this morning, extend a warm welcome to all of you on behalf of Professor Manindra Agrawal, Director IIT Kanpur, and the entire institute community. A special welcome to the little angel sitting there in this wintry morning. Today marks the 10th reunion of the class of 2014, a truly significant occasion. It brings me immense joy to share that we recently celebrated 65 glorious years of the Institute's foundation. I would now like to request Professor Amay Karkare, Dean of Resources and Alumni, to kindly come forward and be seated on the dais. Requesting Mr. Avish Rana, Batch Coordinator, Class of 2014, to kindly take his seat on the stage. I would now request Mr. Sohail Bansal, Batch Representative, Class of 2014, to kindly take his seat on the stage. I now humbly request all our guests present on stage to please come forward for the ceremonial lighting of lamp, which symbolizes knowledge and wisdom. Om Shubham Karoti Kalyanam Arogyam Dhana Sampada Shatru Buddhi Vinashaya Deepa Jyotir Namostute. The light serves as a reminder of the pursuit of knowledge and symbolizes abundance, prosperity, dispelling darkness and ignorance. Thank you, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, reunion is not about counting the number of years. Rather, it's about reliving and cherishing memories and time to be grateful for the beautiful journey you had as a student of IIT Kanpur. रह गई थी हसरतें कुछ दिल में बनकर एक कसक, almost एक दशक. Welcome to the 10th reunion of class of 2014. Time may have zoomed by, but I can still sense the youthful spark alive in this group. So why don't we begin today by reliving our old days and becoming rowdy students once again, shall we? So I request you to clap 3 times at the count of 3 and then shout 10 as loud as you can. Okay. 1, 2, 3. We can still do better. I heard alumni of this batch have come all the way from US, Amsterdam, and different parts of India. And there were many who planned but couldn't make it. Let your voice reach them. Come on, let's do it again at the count of 3 with full Josh in Hosh. Come on, let's do it. 10. Thank you. So let me take you on a short trip down the memory lane. 14 years ago, more than 750 young boys and 80 girls from across India decided to embark on a challenging journey away from the comforts of their home all the way to a city once called Kanpur, Kanhapur, and now named Kanpur, to be part of this prestigious institute called IIT Kanpur. As you arrived with your personal baggage, the institute welcomed you with open arms, and it offered you a unique package, a package comprising of prestigious foundation, integrity, pride, and an enduring, unbreakable bond. चाय कुछ 5 रुपए की थी, छोटी गोल्ड और स्पेशल कुल्फी जो एकेडमिक एरिया के बाहर मिलती थी 10 रुपए की. Gangs of Wasaipur Avengers were blockbusters. Piyush Mishra, Dhanush, Robert Downey Jr. were famous actors, whereas Katrina, Huma Qureshi, and Elizabeth Olsen were ruling the young hearts. Famous songs were Chikni Chameli and Kolavari Tea. Keh ke lunga was the motto of the batch. MT Ki Chai and Lala Canteen was always special. And two go places in the city were Ramaiya Dhaba, Hukka, Antarang, and VJs. Gurudev Theatre was the dabang spot for IT students. And the moment an English movie hit the screen, Rave 3 would transform into a personal theatre for ITK folks. Z Square was the new addition. By 2014, there were 9 Hall of Residences. There was no Wi-Fi. LAN connection existed, but the ceasefire was set by 12 at night. LAN gaming like Age of Empires, Counter-Strike were major attractions. The famous jargons at the Adda point were Maggu, Lasur, GPL, Chapna, Bhokal, Bulla Session, and the most famous Bakat. Can anyone tell me the full form of GPL? Okay. Interaction between seniors and juniors involved colo session, जिसमें हम पहले नाम बताते थे, फिर हॉल क्रमांक, फिर शाखा, और आखिर में हवा. हवा बोले तो AIR, AIR बोले तो All India Ranking. This colo session was followed by Muski Pocho process, GBM, and finally, Hall 1, 2, 3, all the way to 9 ka tempo. IT ka tempo? IT ka tempo? Cricket and football matches would bring cricket lovers together in the TV room and OAT. Dhoni, Yuvraj, Sehwag, and Sachin's batting brought cheers in the room, whereas their wicket down would bring hours of mourning and drinking. Also, Ronaldo and Messi fans club were constantly at war. Hard rock ruled the hearts of many. Synchronicity came for Antaragni and just rocked it. फिर क्या था? हमें भी आदत पड़ गई सर पीटने की. Headbanging continued as a trend, resulting in neck pain towards the end. Hall 1 ki Barat event was thrilling. Barat, starting from Hall 1, was exciting. Guards and campus residents watching Barat and dancing as Barati was mesmerizing. In the digital age, Panditji asking the bride and groom to change their status from single to married was surprising. And to top it all, Panditji requesting Baratis to make his video to post in Facebook and tagging bride and groom was alarming. 10 years of marriage, we need to check the happiness index. Is it still मैंने प्यार किया or has it changed to मैंने ये क्या किया? जाने मन मत जाओ या जान मत खाओ. तुम बिन रहा ना जाए या तुमको सहा ना जाए. We need to check on that. कहते हैं मंदिर में अगर बंदर आए तो हनुमान जी आए हैं. इस कनेक्शन के बारे में तो सबको पता है. लेकिन गॉड नोज एलुमनाई मीट और तेंदुए के बीच में क्या है कनेक्शन? पिछले 3 साल से हर बार इस समय आ जाता है बनाने अपना विंटर वेकेशन विदाउट एनी इन्विटेशन. होगा आप लोगों का कोई पुराना अफेक्शन. Ladies and gentlemen, just wanted to let you know that a leopard is moving around the campus. So just be alert and careful while roaming the campus, especially at night. This was a digital batch to see transformation in digital world as WhatsApp was just launched. DC++ of ITK was another big add-on. And remember that content sharing platform? An honored batch to see the famous personalities like Shankar Mahadevan, Sonu Nigam, Porcupine Tree visit the campus during their stay. Professor Hans Rosling's interactive session in the auditorium left the audience inspired during Trekkriti. A studious batch to still remember the electrifying lectures of Professor Harbola, Professor Partho Chakrabarti, Professor H.C. Verma, Professor Dheeraj Sanghi, Professor A.K. Ghosh, Professor Nandini Neelkanthan, Professor Karkare, and Professor Manindra Agarwal. How many of us still remember Professor Shanmugraj's famous equation? Anybody? Can you please say that? I think it was yem is equal to yen. A political batch, they decided to do the march past in front of GH. The plan was working well, But जैसे ही SIS की जीप क्रॉस करी, everyone joined the so-called अन्ना हजारे movement, chanting, तुम संघर्ष करो, हम तुम्हारे साथ हैं. This was the era when AAP was founded and went to win elections in Delhi. Our young chaps were just not spectators. They were active volunteers living the spirit of change. A sports-loving batch who won the general championship at the inter-ID meet hosted in Guwahati, Bombay, and Kanpur, and won all of them back-to-back 3 years in a row. This is also the batch that witnessed India's iconic World Cup victory in cricket in 2011 at Wankhede Stadium, a moment of national pride. More than 2,000 students saw this historical moment in OAT, and as the clock struck midnight, हमारे देशभक्तों ने राष्ट्रगान जन गण मन गाकर देशभक्ति का परिचय दिया. A fiercely competitive batch that poured their heart and soul into winning Galaxy. The ultimate battle of Veeras, Rajputs, Mughals, and Mauryas. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about inter-hall cultural competition. Basically, Game of Thrones, ID style. A spiritually inclined batch that celebrated all festivals with great pomp and show, including Valmiki Jayanti Utsav at Nankari. And had the honor of hosting Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, the renowned spiritual leader of the Art of Living Foundation. A lucky batch to be part of the inauguration of the new SAC building during the Institute's Golden Jubilee celebration. This all-in-one hub brought together various clubs like music, drama, dance, and OAT, everything under one roof. On the other side, Robotics Club stole the spotlight with its fanfare for Robo-Soccer and Robo-Wars. How many still remember the crowd favorite VJ Super? And last but not least, a blessed batch. Because 750 लड़कों में 10 ही लड़के काबिल निकले, as 10 girls chose their life partner here. But wait, there's more. This batch didn't just stop at late night Maggie and group projects. They have moved on to create something even bigger. Share chat, flow data, and young IT professors. They are only a decade in and already leaving their mark on society with so much more to come. Ladies and gentlemen, let's make some noise for these young visionaries, innovators, and change makers who have spent the last 10 years redefining success and teamwork. A huge round of applause from back to front for this unstoppable class of 2014. I would now recall some of the unique nicknames of the class of 2014. I kindly request all of those who are here today to acknowledge by raising their hand. Dum Dum. Burgundy. Casey. Chacha. Chacha is here. Girishi. Chacha is here. Baddie, Anant Mundra. Baba, Bharat Anand. Doga, Dopa, IT के website, Gopi Ramina. Dopa is Vishal Meena. This is all I have from the treasure of memories of class of 2014. I hope I got my facts right. Oh, Guruji. I'll add it for the next reunion. I would like to conclude by 2 lines on friendship. दोस्ती में कर्ज कभी ड्यू नहीं होता और दोस्तों में कभी MOU नहीं होता. On this beautiful day, let's all remember to laugh, share fond memories, and make new memories that we can talk about in our next reunion. I would now like to invite Professor Amay Karkare, Dean of Resources and Alumni, to kindly address the gathering. Thank you.
Lights. Thank you, Shweta. So 14 and a half years back, as Shweta said, 750 boys, 80 girls, 18 girls, 80. Wow. And just a month before these people came to Kanpur, an adult traveled from Delhi to Kanpur in Shram Shakti, second class, near toilet because his reservation could not get confirmed. And that person is now standing before you. So this batch, I have a special connection because I also joined IIT Kanpur as a faculty in 2010, June 7th. And Professor Manindra is here. He's a, I think, another specialty because at that time he was HOD of Computer Science Department, and now when you are back, he's now the director. So you can see the things are moving forward. So my job is to talk about engagement activities we do with alumni. And since you are just 10-year-old, I think quite a few of you are already in touch with the increasing activities on cyberspace. I think it's easier to remain in touch, but still I would like to go over things that we do for alumni and other activities done by DORA and related offices. So first, let's celebrate the success of your batch. So we have one distinguished awardee, the Young Alumnus Awardee in 2022, Deepak Phatak of your batch. So a big round of applause for him. And we expect that more of you will join this list before your next reunion. So at IIT Kanpur, there are three different pillars which engage with alumni. So one is DORA office. So DORA is more of an administrative office which looks after all this record keeping. We have Alumni Association, which is an independent registered body where all the alumni are members. So we have more than 43,000 alumni now. And they have election and also currently Shri Rakesh Sharma ji is the president of Alumni Association. And they help alumni to engage with each other, run some chapters and do a lot of activities. Some of the chapters are very active, some are less so. But if you are interested, you can connect with him to create your own local chapter. And we have a third body quite recently started in 2020, IITK Development Foundation, whose sole goal is to engage with alumni, corporates, philanthropists, foundations, and raise funds for the institute. So you must be connecting with many of them, and I will show the whole team later in this presentation. So what are the engagement activities? So one of the most important activity is what we are doing right now, alumni reunions, and the numbers have increased. Last year we had 9 reunions, more than 700 alumni attended these, and along with them around more than 500 family members. So more than 1,200 people attended reunions, and we got some very good feedback. And this year also we are planning to have 10 reunions. Yours is 4th one. And so you can see the calendar quite full, and I think the numbers are going to increase even further. So these are the photographs from the first 3 reunions, and today we'll have photograph for your session also. As you can see, 25th reunion is by far the biggest one. This year we had another record for 25th reunion, more than 180 alumni and 450, including family member people joined here. We have started a new initiative this year to engage with alumni for deciding the vision for the institute, how we can progress to become, get back our glory. So we call it Distinguished Alumni Meet, which is a day-long activity where we invite some of the distinguished alumni award winners and have conversation with them. So we discuss how institute can make a mark. And this year we had 2 DAA meets. One was in Goa in August and one in New York in October. We do what is called IIT Karma. So this is a batch-specific meet. In IIT Karma, team from IIT Kanpur visits various cities and meet all the alumni in that and nearby cities. So we are running this Karma in USA for a couple of years. This year also we had 5 Karma in New York, Washington, Chicago, Seattle, and San Francisco. Earlier this year, we ran a Karma in Singapore. And due to success of all these Karmas, we have now started Karma in India also. Just a month back, we were in Mumbai, Bangalore, and Delhi, meeting alumni from all batches. So these karmas are also attended by a large number of alumni. In US, we met more than 500, 600 alumni, and in India also, at various places, we met around 150 to 200 alumni. So the goal of all this is that motivate alumni to give back to institutes, to the institute that has made their life, made change in their life, helped in their success. So giving back can be in terms of time. So we have activities like Alma Connect, where an alumni can visit the institute and engage with the students. And in case somebody is not able to, then we can also have virtual Alma Connect sessions. So last year we had 37 such sessions where 40 alumni joined and more than 2,000 students were engaged. So these sessions can be department specific, they can be some project specific, or they can be in general about motivating talks like career options, maybe about financial decisions and so on and so forth. So anything which you feel that you can give knowledge to students, you are welcome to connect with us and we can have this session. Along with Alma Connect, we are now doing what is called a more focused mentorship, alumni-inspired mentorship, AIM. Here, an alumni can register and he or she will be connected with like-minded students who want to get some tips from the alumni. So this is more focused. With one alumni, we only engage 4 or 5 students at a time. So here also we have conducted quite a few sessions. More than 40 alumni are engaged, and more than 400 students have taken advantage. This is a new initiative, and we are slowly sending the information to all the batches. In terms of resources, you can give back to the institute in many different verticals. You can help in research and innovation by providing research grants. You can support student entrepreneurship program. You can give back for schools. We have multiple schools running for different sections of the society. Opportunity School for very poor people. Rozi Shiksha Kendra, some of you visited to help villagers to learn new skills and so on. You can support infrastructure, medical school, new department and centers, labs, student housing, and you can also help students by providing travel grants, scholarship, awards, and in many different ways. And finally, we also have support for faculty to motivate faculty doing good work by supporting endowed chair, faculty fellowship, research initiation grant, and you can also support distinguished lecture series. Here are different ways you can contribute. Annual giving, where you can give during tax saving time, you can give back to the institute, and our institute is registered so that you can save tax on that. As a batch, you can come together and support certain initiatives. I think some of them I will list in the next slide. You can decide a campaign based on the interest of one or few people, like a lecture series or some specific cause. You can give back to specific departments. You can support institute counseling service or health center. You can do plant giving, which means you can make institute a part in your will or in your financial decisions, shares, etc. You can support R&D facilities. And finally, Magic, which is another new initiative, monthly alumni giving for IIT Kanpur. This is especially geared towards young alumni, and I will talk about it a little more later. So here are some of the initiatives supported by batches, like 1968 is supporting IIT Kanpur Museum. 1970 batch has supported gym. So if you are around, just go near Hall 1. The gym has been upgraded. There have been other infrastructure projects like near library. You can see that fountain projects, maker space, physics lab upgradation, and so forth. And you can also come up with your own idea, and then we can take it forward. Since DORA and DF, their task is also for fundraising from corporate social responsibilities, we are now engaging corporate more and more. So this year, we had quite a number of MOUs with the different corporates. So you can see large number of them. So we connect with corporates, we tell them what kind of research activities as well as CSR activities, the corporate social responsibility activities we do, and we get engaged with corporates. So in case you are interested in getting more information, please connect with Rajat, who is our Vice President of IITK Development Foundation. He is also around. Rajat, yeah, he's sitting at the back. To streamline this, rather than reaching one company at a time, we also started a new initiative called Samanvay, where we invited corporates across India to visit IIT Kanpur, see what we are doing. And this event we called Samanvay 2024. It will be an annual event from now. Here we invited corporates. More than 50 corporates came here, and all the departments and research labs, they had their stalls put up. And this was a very, very appreciated event. So we got keynote from R.S. Sharma ji and S.P. Shukla, and multiple panel discussions consisting of leaders from corporates and academia. So when we receive these donations or other support from donors, it is important that donors know what is happening, how this support is being utilized, so that they feel motivated to give back more and at the same time feel confident in our abilities. So we submit different kind of reports to donors. We support fundraising reports, how fundraising is progressing, because generally funds do not come in one tranche, they come in multiple tranches. We give them reports about our projects and programs, and we supply this utilization certificates, how the money is being utilized. So these are done regularly, generally annually, but depending on donors, it can be half yearly or quarterly as well. So last year we had 335 programs supported by 261 donors, of which nearly 95% programs have already been, reports have been sent. For big projects like Gangwal School, infrastructure and research related, all 70 projects, we have sent the reports. So all 100% coverage here. Along with these reports, we also try to connect donors with the beneficiaries. So specifically when their donor is supporting some award or scholarship, we conduct these one-on-one kind of meetings. So we conducted 32 meetings where 34 donors were engaged. And after these meetings, we conduct some feedback. So we got very good satisfaction rating of 9.58. So this particular initiative we called IIT Converge, where donor and donee come together, discuss behind the motivation behind why this particular award was set up, what was the motivation. And our goal is that students, when they learn about donors' history, they might also feel motivated towards creating similar awards once they graduate. So here is the fundraising overview. As I said, IITK came into picture in 2020, and since then our focus has been much more streamlined, and you can see the results also. So last few years we are raising funds close to 20 million every year, 20 million USD or 160 CR. So here are some of our major donors from India as well as abroad. And this is our team. So there are 3 teams, team of DORA, which sits in faculty building, then team from IITK Development Foundation. So many of them you will see around. And finally, Alumni Association. So generally, Babita ji attends, today she is not here. So Alumni Association is distributed across the world. So not many people from Alumni Association you will see here. So this is about Magic. So Magic is a program, as you can see, monthly alumni giving for IIT Kanpur. So the goal is that since alumni who are recently graduated may not have large donations to make, still they can contribute and connect to the institute by paying a small amount per month. So this is like an SIP that you start. And even your batch, because you have just finished 10 years in the corporate world outside, you can start donating a small amount of money like 1 day salary or 500 rupees, 1000 rupees per month. And by the time your 25th reunion comes, you will have a big corpus to decide how you can use it for institute's benefit. So the details are here. Our webpage shows some kind of graphics, how your money will grow and like that. So if you're interested, you can scan this QR code. I will bring it back. And just before I say thank you, everyone. Follow our channels, social media channels, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and X. At the same time, the emails will typically come from Dora Desk email ID. Please whitelist it in case your mails are going in spam. And register with an email ID which you read, not create a Gmail ID just to get these emails. And at the same time, if you have any questions, queries, write to Dora@ITK. If you write to Dora Desk also, I will respond. Okay, so please be in touch. And if you have any questions, please write to these emails. And I will bring back this magic for you to scan. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would now request Professor Manindra Gwal, Director, IIT Kanpur, to kindly address the gathering.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm not sure if I must have taught at least some of you here. Did I? Cryptography, yeah, cryptography is probably a course taken by students across the departments. So anyway, great to see you here. The numbers are a little less though. How many did you graduate? 800, and only 50 showed up. What's going wrong? But anyway, as you will see as the time progresses, by the time you come to 25th, 500 will show up. So that usually happens. And in fact, it grows on. These reunions start growing on you, and by the time you reach the age of like senility, like me, then our batch has a reunion every year. Okay. Now, some of you will know I took over as director about 8 months ago. And I've been a student of this institute, like you, but of course, much before you were born. Joined in 1982. And there are some thoughts that I had that the institute needs to do, which have been discussed and collected as a vision for the institute, and I want to share that with all of you and get your buy-in. Okay, I don't have to talk about IIT Kanpur to you. You are very familiar with this. Some good things about the institute remain. That is very good infrastructure, great greenery. We have just recently welcomed a leopard also on campus. And this institute keeps growing. Faculty strength is 570 plus now. Students are actually crossing 9,500. Alumni base, of course, keeps growing. Many departments have been doing well. Some of these rankings show you that they are performing or competing globally. But at the same time, we cannot deny that there is a problem. And this problem about the institute is certainly about perception. It is a widely held belief that IIT Kanpur is not what it used to be in terms of recognition amongst the best institutions in the country. 30 years ago, we were by far the best. Today, that is not the case. This is reflected in rankings of various kind, where IIT Kanpur doesn't come up #1 in the country. It's also reflected in the top 100 JEE rankers who are entering the institute. How many of top 100 entered in your batch to IIT? How many of them came to IIT Kanpur? 2. So by that time, already things had gone downhill. There was a time when of top 100, at least 50 would come to IIT Kanpur, which is now the case with IIT Bombay. That's what used to be with IIT Kanpur. So the question is, what went wrong? And there's certainly a lot of thought has been given to it, a lot of debate has happened around it. Faculty, alumni, particularly senior alumni, are very concerned about this. They have their concern about the research being done at the institute. Again, we are doing well, as I just showed you, but this is all a relative grading system, so we are not doing as well as some others do. And teaching as well. Among the reasons that is cited for this, one is locational disadvantage that the institute has, that with time this is becoming increasingly challenging. If a bright young faculty comes to the institute, typically, or wants to come to the institute, typically the spouse of the faculty also is professional, and Kanpur as a city doesn't offer too many opportunities for the spouses. So many of them therefore prefer going to a metro city. So that's one reason. There is another reason, that there is a perception that the placement of IIT Kanpur is not as good as IIT Bombay, which is more of a perception than reality, but it is a perception. There are concerns about the infrastructure also. Again, comparatively, our research infrastructure is not as good as some of the other IITs. So these are the sort of reasons which are listed out, of which the locational one is a very prominent one. It's also a one which we can't do anything about. I mean, it is, Kanpur is what it is, we can't help it. So if that is the case, we can either learn to accept where we are and live with it, or we try to do something about that. And we can't do anything about location, but still, despite the location, try to do something about it. So I belong to the second category, so and I want to do something about it, and I can't do it alone, so I want all of us to do something about it. So what is that? The first thing is that one must understand why we were the best earlier. At that time, in let's say 60s, 70s, 80s, IIT Kanpur, even until 90s, IIT Kanpur was head and shoulder above other IITs. And the reason for that was that we had several unique advantages. One of them was computer science. We initiated computer science education in the country, and whether it is latest computers or latest curriculum, it was all came out of the institute. And as computer science became very prominent, the most prominent stream in the country, so naturally people flocked to IIT Kanpur. In terms of teaching also, we were unique. We had outstanding teachers, a very rigorous curriculum, which was appreciated by many. So those were strong advantages that we had. But over time, that has eroded. Today, computer science departments across old IITs are all very strong. Also, earlier, there was not as much focus on research than it is today. Earlier, the focus in, again, 70s, 80s, it was more of a teaching part, training the younger generation, and there IIT Kanpur had a huge advantage. But as the focus has shifted towards research, the research infrastructure and the faculty doing research has increasingly played an important role. So these are the reasons we have lost that advantage. And if we want to regain, we again have to come up with something which makes us unique. We cannot use the same thing that made us unique earlier. The same thing can't make us unique today. We have to find something else. And that something else, I propose, is, which forms the main or the key component of the strategy that I am proposing. This strategy has 3 pillars. The main pillar is what I am going to talk about now, which is translational research. Now, translational research is basically taking the technology which is present in the labs to the out and make it workable, deployable in the outside world. And of course, the technology one is talking about has, in order for it to make difference, has to be fairly impactful. This is something that IIT Kanpur and educational institutions in India have not been doing well until now. And if we, as an institution, can do this well, it will certainly change the perception about the institute in the outside world, because they just think about the technologies that have come out of MIT and the kind of impact it has had across the world. In fact, MIT is known for the technologies it has produced, among other things. So if we do that, certainly our respect in the outside world will increase manifold. This will also provide us a alternative source of funds, because when you transfer technology, you can earn revenue on it. It's also important because with time, Government of India is saying that the old IITs need to find their own funding sources. And the government funding will be diverted, is already being diverted to the younger IITs. For good reason, because they need it more than we do. And most interestingly, if we focus on this side, or this aspect, the location actually becomes an advantage. Why? Because we are developing impactful technologies which make a difference to the world, let's say, Indian society. If you develop something, you want to do a trial run in a sample population. And for us, that sample population is available right outside the gate. Unlike metro IITs, where to get a representative population, you need to go far. You don't have to travel anywhere. Just step outside, a kilometer from here, and you have a representative population where you can try out whatever testing we need to. So these reasons make it, let's say, important that we turn our focus towards translational research. It will require a change in the mindset of faculty and students. Till now, faculty, students are happy working within the lab. They don't step outside. But in order to achieve this, it has to be changed. Now, the timing for this also happens to be very appropriate. That's because the state of Uttar Pradesh today has sorted out the basic infrastructure, law and order issues. A lot of industry is today coming to the state, just started, I should say, coming to the state. And the state has a very ambitious goal of becoming $1 trillion economy, which will only be achieved if tech-led new generation companies set up shop here. And if that is to happen, IIT Kanpur can play a very crucial role. One, by taking the technologies that we have to the outside, working with the industries. Two, collaborating with the state government and attracting tech industry to set up in the state. In fact, I recently had a meeting with the Chief Minister of the state and we discussed the idea, I should say, of making UP a deep tech hub. And he has set up a group which is interacting with us to come up with a plan to make this happen. Okay? But in order to do translation research, good translation research, the key pillar, I should say, of my strategy, we need a very strong basis of traditional or basic research. Because unless you do some good things in the lab, you can't get it outside. So that's a second pillar, that we need a strong traditional research base. And the third pillar is the teaching. We were known for outstanding teachers, phenomenal teachers. I'm not sure what your experience has been, but the earlier alumni, all when they come back, they only talk about the teachers that they have had in their classes. Over time, this has reduced. We still have outstanding teachers, but probably not as many. One of the reasons is that focus of faculty has shifted towards research. Another reason is even students are different. Their expectations are different. They have enough options for pulling out lectures from YouTube and elsewhere, not just from classrooms, and learning from them. They have enough options to divert their attention while in the classrooms. So the strategy to teach or engage them has to be different. It cannot be just old style teaching. So but as a top educational institute of the country, we must ensure that the next generation is taught well. So that has to be a important aspect of whatever strategy we desire. Okay, so with this strategy, with one main pillar and two additional ones, how do we embark on it? Well, we are not at the start line. We have already made progress. I'll give you some examples of translational research that is already happening on campus. One is in cybersecurity, where there is a large group I should say, that is developing today solutions and deploying them across the country. Some examples being Security Operations Center at National Highway Authority, Indian Port Association. All Indian port cybersecurity is being audited by this group. In fact, the current ongoing Mahakumbh, the entire cybersecurity of that is with this group. It has developed data integrity solutions, which are being used to give us self-sovereign or self-certifiable degrees, or securing land records, and again, those have been deployed at multiple places. The other group is which is working on using AI to create impactful solutions, and here are two examples of their impact. This group has developed a grievance management system, which is today deployed in the Prime Minister's office, Ministry of Defense, and several other ministries. What this does is it collects the grievances uploaded on the portal of that ministry. And this can be in all shapes and forms, different languages, written, verbal, video. And you imagine it's all there, handwritten also. And it extracts, of course, useful information from them, processes it, and produces actionable points for the official there. So this has been found extremely useful by the respective ministries, and that's why it is now spreading to all the ministries of the Government of India. Another solution they have developed is for detecting health insurance fraud, which is deployed at National Health Authority and helping them save quite a lot of money. The third group is working on drones. We, of course, have a natural advantage in terms of drones because of the airstrip, flight lab, etc. So the drones developed by this group is today being purchased by the armed forces. And they also have now a simulator to train pilots to fly drones. And that's also now being purchased. Fourth is the upcoming medtech ecosystem on campus. Many of you would be aware of this medical school, including a super specialty hospital that's being set up. It should become operational next year. The Gangwal School of Medical Sciences and Technology. Along with it, or the whole idea of this school is to bring the medicine and engineering streams together and work together to develop medical devices, therapeutics, and such medical focus initiatives which require increasingly inputs from the engineering side. So this is taking shape very well. There is already a artificial heart project that's going on, and they have developed it to the level that animal trials will start shortly. Okay, so this is the starting point that we have today. Now, in order to make the translational effort go up a notch, what I'm proposing is to set up a technology transfer office in Directorate with the charter to work with the faculty, take their technologies from the lab, and help them bring it to a deployable stage, or TRL7. It will also go to the outside world and find the problem statements which are interesting, challenging, and bring them to our faculty to address, and students to address. So that's the role that this office is going to play. And once we reach a technology which is a demonstrable prototype, then taking it to the market, we already have avenues. I think those presentations got cancelled. In Technopark or Incubation Center, those channels already exist to take it to the market. Another thing is that I have already shifted the media cell to the Directorate, because it's important not only to do good work, but also to tell the world about the work. And here we are getting help from our senior alumni. A couple of them are very well placed in the Indian media, and they are devising our media strategy for us to follow. Now, this shift towards translation research requires, like I said, a change in the mindset from faculty. Once faculty changes, then it will percolate to students also. But it's a challenging change because it requires faculty to step out of their comfort zones. So I made this proposal to our faculty, and then later on did an anonymous survey as to what they think about it. So we received about 362 responses, which is 60% of the overall faculty size. And 2/3 of them liked this idea and also said they would like to try this out, which is a very healthy number. In absolute terms, that's 250 plus faculty members. About a quarter said that they like the idea, but they are not going to do it, which is perfectly fine. There are many theoreticians on campus who won't be bothered with it. Now we come to traditional R&D, like the second pillar, which is the base for translation research. Here we have a challenge. This is a data point that shows that IIT Kanpur is not doing as well as other 4 old IITs. This plots the number of publications per faculty per year over the past decade for 5 old IITs. In 2014, IIT Kanpur and others were pretty much same ballpark. It's here, all focused and concentrated between 3 and 3.5 or thereabouts. 10 years later, you see IIT Kanpur is at the bottom and there is daylight between IIT Kanpur and others. Now, some of us like to not acknowledge it and say, okay, because we do high quality work, we only do high quality work, therefore the number of publications per year will obviously be less. Unlike IIT Delhi, which only publishes trash. Now, without disputing the second point, I unfortunately the first point is not correct, which is we only publish quality work. Because you see, this is the second graph. This is number of citations per faculty per year. It's a rough measure of the quality, not perfect measure, of course, but it's an approximation. Here also we are number 5. So we cannot claim that we are doing high quality work. So there is a problem. And the genesis of this problem seems to be about 10, 12 years ago. At that time we were kind of okay with similar ballpark. And if you actually wind back another 6 years, then you can pinpoint where the divergence started. In 2008, just around your time, right? You got in 2010. 2008, when the OBC reservation was implemented, all the IITs were given large amount of funding by the government to improve their infrastructure. For some reason, which we'll take offline, IIT Kanpur did not spend that money, did not create any additional infrastructure, in fact returned the money. And the other 4 IITs, they used the money fully, they built their infra, including research infra. Not only that, the money we returned, they took that money also. So that's where things started diverging. And the impact of this is now increasingly being felt. We need to. Where do you get engaged? 4 ways. Provide feedback on this plan. In fact, I have been collecting feedback and revising the plans. Translation R&D, many of you are in industries where translation work is your bread and butter. So help us with the connections and other ideas. More engagement with students, which Amay has already outlined, the various programs that we have for engaging alumni with students. And finally, give back in terms of support these initiatives by providing the necessary funds. There is a 5th one also. Actually, this got added later, which is the QS World Ranking has a 40% weightage of perception. Now, the perception is measured by QS people sending emails to a whole set of people and asking them, how do you feel about this university? And we can give names of people who they should approach. So if you want to be one of those persons to give feedback about IIT Kanpur, just scan this QR code, register your details with us, and we will send those names to the QS. Okay, now we come to the fundraising. So the things that I have outlined, our estimate is it requires $600 million, or about 5,000 crore rupees. And I want to raise it in next 3 years. The breakup of this in computer science terminology is the hardware at the bottom, which is the infrastructure, whether it is buildings, equipments, and so on. That's division given there, about 265 million. Then the middleware is these are the initiatives that use the hardware and provide a platform to do interesting things. That includes technology transfer office, incubation center, Certex, and so on. It also includes the hospital that we are building. And finally, the applications on top of it. These are the major translational domains that we want to focus on as of now. I've already talked about AI, drones, medtech, cybersecurity. And there are two more here, which is one is quantum technology, and there's a major national quantum mission underway. And we are working towards raising substantial funds from that. And sustainability, I already outlined that we have now a Kotak School of Sustainability, which is focusing on developing technologies for sustainability. So that's the overall breakup. Of course, as you can see, some of this money has already raised, hospital funds, Kotak School of Sustainability, and so on. So the target that I have set myself for raising this 600 billion, 10% is already raised, so I already mentioned. Of this target of 600 million, 40% I will raise from our own resources and the government. 10% from industry through CSR donations. And 50% is targeted for alumni, to raise from alumni. We have 43,000 plus alumni base. So 300 million for alumni appears large, that's about 2,500 crore rupees. But if you divide it by 43,000, the number becomes quite reasonable. It translates to 2 lakh rupees per alumni per year for 3 years. So that seems very achievable aim. So that's what I look forward to support from all of you here and outside. Because together, if we work together, I'm sure we can implement this strategy well, and that will change IIT Kanpur completely. Thank you. Do we have time, or are we done? One question. Okay. She'll give us one question. You choose who to.
Thank you for your talk. It was awesome. I just want to say that I love IIT Kanpur, but my experience was mixed here. I had some really, really excellent experience, but it was also very challenging for me towards the end. And it was not just the institute. The problem was personal, family, societal, but also institutional. And I completely agree with you that the teaching part had a lot to do with it. In the first 2 years, I loved the teaching, whereas it lost its edge towards the end. And I also felt that the working environment was a little toxic. And also the mindset of the students was unhealthy in a way that, and I see that not just in students back then, I see that in students who have graduated, have become faculty members, even back in the US as well, that we want to achieve a lot, and the focus is on achieving rather than gaining pleasure from the craft itself. So do you have anything in mind to address this? Or do you agree with this?
I agree with that. Today, the way society is, there is a lot of emphasis on achievements. I don't have a solution to this, because this is a societal problem, not an institutional problem. And this is not only an India problem. Across the world, people are being measured by what they have achieved. And this compels everyone to target that. And one example I'll give, the students who are coming in today, on day one, they are already looking at what will be their take-home salary when they graduate. And their 4 years are spent in optimizing that number. It's not healthy, but it is what the society makes them think. Our role as teachers is to expose them to an alternative pathway where they can achieve fulfillment. And that's what we should strive. We should not try to change the society. We should just focus on telling the students, look, here are alternative pathways, which will also lead to a very fulfilling life, probably more fulfilling life. Some will take it, some will not.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would now request batch coordinator, Mr. Avish Rana and Mr. Sohail Bansal to kindly come and address the gathering.
Ajo, one by one. So this wasn't part of the script that was shared with me. So I honestly don't really have anything to say beyond what we would probably have discussed last evening. But gist of that is thanks a lot, folks, for making time to come here, spending time, spending money to come for this reunion. It was just lovely seeing so many familiar faces. And I think the second thing is just, I think Professor Manindra Agrawal has given a very compelling pitch around how we can give back to the campus. And since it's just 40, 50 of us here, if we can just drive this message further in our batch somehow, I think that will be great. If just each of us can talk to 2 or 3 of our batchmates and get them to just donate in whatever way they can. I think it doesn't have to be money. It can be just being slightly more engaged with IIT Kanpur in whatever way they can. I think that's just, that'll be great. And yeah, I think that's all I had to say. Thanks. And yeah, sorry, before I go, Professor, we would love to have you at the gala dinner. I also sent out an email invite, but just wanted to take this opportunity. Thank you. And Professor Amey Karkare as well. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry. I thought you'd gone, sorry.
Thank you, sir. I would now request Mr. Kapil Kaul, CEO, ITK Development Foundation, to kindly come and deliver a vote of thanks.
Thank you, Shweta. So I'm really humbled and honored to be presenting the vote of thanks for this ceremony that we're having today. I would like to begin by thanking Professor Manindra Agrawal for coming and sharing his vision with each one of us here. Professor Amey Karkare for sharing with you the gamut of activities that happens between DORA, IITKDF, Alumni Association, and what we're doing. But more importantly, thanking all of you for being here, taking time out. I know you guys are young, you have busy lives, a lot to be done, but giving campus that time in your scheme of things and coming all the way in the winter schedule when flights get cancelled and all in the fog. And that means a lot to us. And I loved all the enthusiasm I've seen so far. You guys were partying till late last night. So I hope you continue doing that tonight as well. We'll ensure that you have a good time. You were well taken care of. And thank you so much. I'd also like to thank the team at DORA, IITKDF, IIT Kanpur, VH, security, everyone who really ensures that all of you have a smooth stay on campus. So thank you, thanks a lot, have a good time. And look forward to seeing a much bigger group for your Silver Jubilee. Thanks.
So I'll request everyone to kindly proceed for the photography session, which is outside in the PE ground, I guess.